All right, so here we are at the onset of free agency. Cabrera did not take the qualifying offer, so he is a free agent, and we will get a first-round pick if he signs before next year's first-year player draft. I actually don't know who is going to sign him and give up a first-round pick for him, but we will see. Let's look at the international free agents. So I did limit the number of these that would spawn to 5, and it looks like, ooh, this guy. I am definitely going to try and sign this guy. Absolutely. Forms tentative opinions, reserving judgment. Yes, okay. We definitely, this is going to be my first order of business is offering this guy a contract. Give him 700, yeah, it's a minor league deal with a signing bonus, so I'm just going to pay him, give him $1 million. I want him, I don't want to get in a bidding war for him. And he could be our long-term Cespedes replacement, which I really like. And it looked like he could play a little center field too, which would be nice. That would allow us to move Mookie back to right field where he's a little bit better. There was also this guy who looks like a pretty decent starter. He doesn't have good stamina, which probably explains why his demands are pretty low. He's got good personality ratings. Seems like they think he's a little bit above average. He's not looking for a big contract. Even if he was a reliever, I think he'd be a pretty good reliever for us. So I'm gonna try and get him. Let's even do 3 years at 15 million is what I'd, or I'll even go. Yeah, I'll try 3 years, 15 million. See if we can get him signed to that. And there was one other guy that looked like he was half decent on the international market. This guy, pretty solid outfielder, but not really a long-term piece. And we already have 3 outfielders. Um, our scouts do like him. I think he'd be a pretty good bat, but yeah, I think we're gonna try and sign the other outfielder instead, and I don't really want to sign them both. Um, all right, and the other thing I wanted to look at was see if I can find it. Um, where posted free agents would be from. Here we go, posted players. All right, so no one is posted here yet. I'm not sure maybe if we actually missed that window or not. I usually don't even look at the posted players because there are usually not very good players coming over from the other leagues. But all right, so let's look at the free agents. We've got Rosenthal coming off of Tommy John. That's kind of an intriguing option. Of course, he has pretty rough control, but other than that, he's got really good ratings. So that could be a nice little option here. He's only looking for a 1-year deal. So I'll offer him 1 year, 5 million. We're going to need to get a couple relievers, so I'm definitely happy to take a flyer on him. Other than that, I think really we're going to be looking at infielders. So we already have Cespedes, Betts, and Conforto, and hopefully we sign that other guy to be our 4th or 5th outfielder along with Juan Lagares. So I kind of don't really want to sign any other outfielders to big league contracts, but the infield is definitely, I mean, we could use a third baseman, we could use a second baseman, we could even maybe use a first baseman. I do want to give Dom Smith a chance at, especially as his contact, look at his contact rating going up. I definitely want to give him a shot as the first baseman, but if there's someone available who I kind of can't pass up, then I'm definitely going to be thinking about making a move there. But really, third base and second base, and we have a ton of money, so we could go out and get someone like Josh Donaldson, who's a little bit older, but still a pretty good player, coming off of kind of a down year, honestly. His offensive ratings kind of in decline, so I don't think I'm going to target him by any means. Um, I mean, a guy like Bryce Harper, looking for 30 million. It's obviously a long-term contract. It is pretty intriguing to make a play for a guy like that, quite honestly. But I'm gonna wait and see. Kershaw is also available. Hmm. This would be an interesting move. Wow, could you imagine having Kershaw and Syndergaard at the top of a rotation? That would be pretty serious. We wouldn't really have to worry about keeping DeGrom long term. That would be a pretty serious move. Familia. Familia is now only looking for 7 million a year. So I kind of like him at that number. more than the 12.5 he was looking for at the beginning of free agency. We have Grandal on the market who could be a long-term catching option. I'm surprised I don't see Jonathan Lucroy here. Maybe he's just further down on the list. But Lucroy's coming off of like a 5-win season, I'm pretty sure. Here he is. He's looking for really 19 million. He's pretty old already, and his defense is not that great, so I don't really like him as a long-term option. I definitely value defense at the catcher spot. Adrian Beltre wouldn't be a bad short-term third base option. He's coming off of a really good year, but he also comes with compensation. So if we sign Kershaw, if we sign someone like Kershaw or Harper, then I don't think Harper's realistic because I don't think we're going to be able to move Cespedes. Like even if we retained half the money on his contract, I don't think we're really going to be able to get anything for him or even move him for anything less than like a big contract coming back. Yeah, so like all the guys being offered here are, guys on big contracts. Like I don't want to take Cano's contract, obviously. And I would really only consider looking at infielders. I guess I could move him for Jansen. That's a little bit intriguing. That's definitely interesting. That doesn't really help me save money though, and it doesn't solve the holes we have on our infield. And we don't really have guys coming up who are going to be able to fill those spots. So we definitely need to look for infielders. I do really, I mean, getting Harper or Kershaw for less than $30 million a year definitely seems like a pretty solid move to me. Even AJ Pollock for 15. I mean, that would be another one where we'd have to move Cespedes, but if we sign Pollock for a good contract and then moved Cespedes for Jansen, I kind of like that. But the thing is, then we're not like if we sign Pollock to a long-term contract, we're not gonna have a place for this guy long-term. And I mean, honestly, maybe this guy could definitely be our second baseman. We could move him to second base. All right, so that gives me a little bit more. That gives me a few more options here. So just looking at his ratings, he can definitely be a good second baseman. He doesn't have a strong arm, but he does everything else well in the infield, including turn the double play, which is the most important thing for a middle infielder, I think, at least ratings-wise in this game. Actually, I'm not going to say most important, but it's basically what allows guys to play the middle infield as opposed to being stuck at a corner spot. So, all right, this guy, he can definitely be a second baseman for us. The question is, all right, so we do that. That could be our fill at second base. We still maybe need a long-term solution in the outfield. If we get this guy signed and we slot him into our rotation as a starter, then we have these three, plus the international, plus maybe Wheeler. Maybe Wheeler is a swingman in the bullpen. And then we have we have plenty of pitching depth. I'm not worried about that. We have definitely a lot of guys who could come up and be spot starters for us throughout the year. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to try and iron out what the framework of a Cespedes for Kenley Jansen deal would look like. Let's go to the Dodgers. And I just want to take a quick peek at their outfield. So they do have 3 outfielders. But I guess I could still see them going after Cespedes if for nothing more than like as an expensive platoon with Jock Peterson or something. Or, I mean, the Dodgers, they do pretty routinely have like 4 good outfielders. So it wouldn't really surprise me to see them go after a guy like Cespedes. And they clearly want to get out of the Jansen contract. So, all right, if we retained 40% of the deal. All right, looks like as long as they can afford it, they're willing to do this. And wow, Frank Wren actually says we shouldn't do this, but all right. So if we sign an outfielder, then I'm happy to do this trade. We would be taking on available money would only drop by 600,000 in this because we're getting rid of about 18 million, taking back about 18 million. So the money is pretty moot in that sense. And let's think about, all right, so if I do that, that opens up a spot for an outfielder. So I think that is where a move for a guy like Harper or AJ Pollock would come in. I think Harper's going to be my number one target. We could try 28 million for 8 years. Yeah, 28 million over 8 years maybe. That would bring him age 26, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33 seasons, which is fine. I think I'm fine doing that. All right, he likes that. So we're going to offer him that contract. Looks like it's right now it's just us and Washington in on him. A few more teams are in on Kershaw, which means I think Kershaw would be a little bit harder to sign. And the other guy we were thinking about was AJ Pollock. Pollock right now has nobody in on him. That could change over the next couple of days, but that's fine. So if Harper goes like above 30 million a year, then I think we're going to shift our focus towards AJ Pollock. But Harper I think would definitely be the better move for us. He's coming off of an MVP season, and like if you watched the video that I made about the A save, I've seen him like consistently be an elite bat in this game. So if we signed him, that would be a huge move for the long term. And it would eat up most of our money for next year, but that's okay. We still have Todd Frazier who can play third base, so I'm not too worried about not signing a third baseman per se. I really, really, really want to get the international guy, though. All right, so Harper likes our contract so far. I see Philadelphia's in on him now. Kershaw's got a bunch of teams in on him. I don't think we're going to do the Kershaw move because that really only makes sense if we could trade one of our starters to get like a second baseman or a third baseman or an outfielder. Which we could theoretically do, but I think this just makes more sense for us. The Royals are in on Pollock right now. I want to look at our pending offers. So these guys are still pending. They have not gotten back to us. I want to keep an eye on this screen and see, just monitor it, make sure that these guys don't get better offers, especially Shuang. I'm going to go with Shuang for his pronunciation. And the other guy I'm going to call Ta. Shuang and Ta. Those are the official pronunciations, and no one can correct me because these are made-up players. So take that, comment section. And there it is, Bryce Harper, a New York Met. That is pretty unbelievable. So we sign Harper. Now we are going to make our next move here to the Dodgers. Cespedes for Kenley Jansen. We're going to complete this trade. Two big moves. So the only thing about signing Harper is the only downside, this is the absolute only downside, I think, is that we lock Betts into a center fielder role. And much like if you watched my A's video, where I eventually had to move Machado off of shortstop to third base, there is going to come a point in time where Betts just isn't going to be fit to play center field anymore. He's going to be 50 grade or below. And that's going to hinder us a little bit. If we're still getting really great offensive production out of Conforto, Betts, and Harper, then it's going to be fine. It's not going to be a big deal, but it is maybe going to be an issue down the road. But for the next couple of years, we're going to have maybe the best outfield in all of baseball, so I'm going to worry about that when we get to it. Let's go to players DFA'd. Add both of these guys. So now pretty much all of our money is zapped up. So if we were able to sign these other guys who we have offered deals to, that would pretty much be our offseason. Right now, Shuang is liking our offer, which is good. Ta, I'm less concerned about, although, yeah, he would definitely fit well into our rotation as the third, fourth, or fifth guy, mixed in with Matz and Wheeler. So I do like the idea of getting him, and then even if he doesn't work out as a starter because of the low stamina rating, I think he would still be a good bullpen piece, which is something we're going to be looking for still. But the bullpen is starting to sort of round into shape, which is good. We're going to have Jansen, Betances, Jamie Callahan, Juan Nicasio, Swarzak still, and then maybe throw in. Actually, that's probably, yeah, probably not much more than that. Rodon is going to be there, um, and maybe PJ Conlon just because he's another lefty. Um, or I mean, if we were able to get Jerry Blevins back for really, really cheap, we could possibly afford him, but I think that's going to be tough. Um, let's just go to the front office salary screen and just see if they're right. So we're retaining a little bit of money on Cespedes. That's fine. That is for 2 more years, though. That's the downside to that trade too. Is we're going to potentially lose Jansen and be paying Cespedes 11 million for basically nothing in 2020. But that's okay. I'm fine with that because that's a little bit of a. I mean, that makes the deal much more fair for both sides, I think. So anyway, wow, Lagares makes 9 million. What? I did not know about that. That is. It's only for 1 more year, so that's okay, I guess. We've got some pricey relievers. We're gonna have more money coming off the books next year, which is good. So even though we've sort of tied up our finances for this year, it's not gonna be like that moving forward. If we have, do we have an outfielder who could come up and be the fourth guy next year? It doesn't really look like it. So yeah, that could be kind of tricky. We probably have to keep Lagares and Frazier, just because we're not really going to be able to replace them per se, but I'll shop them around at least. So another question we can think about is, so Rosenthal is tying up 5 million of our, current offers that are being extended to guys, and we could think about maybe trying to get Familia back for a longer term contract. Rosenthal, I know, is only going to want the 1 year deal because he's going to want to rebuild his value. But at the same time, if Rosenthal has a really good year, then we could potentially, get the qualifying offer on him after next year. But our bullpen, if we sign Rosenthal, we're going to have a lot of guys on 1 year contracts, which is okay. It's not a big deal. But I think we're just going to keep the offer on to Rosenthal. And I looked at Lagares and Frazier deals. There was nothing. So we're just going to keep trudging along here, seeing if we get these guys. And yes. Okay, no, that was not. All right, we got Ta, which is good. I was thinking that might have been Shuang, who I care a little bit more about because Shuang is the longer term prospect for this team. He still favors our offer with the $1 million signing bonus. Hopefully that does not change. It did change. Okay. So now he wants more money. He barely got offered any more from the Red Sox. So, yeah, I do have enough funds to go up. I'm going to go up to 1.5 million and hope that no one tops that. Let's go back to the free agents. And again, Shuang is looking for more money here. Looks like the Blue Jays came in with a good offer. So, all right, we'll go up to. I'm just going to go all the way up to 2.4 because that's pretty much the max we can offer him. Hopefully, no one tops that, but we will see. All right, so we're at the date of the Rule 5 draft. I added a few pitchers to our 40-man so that they wouldn't be eligible for the Rule 5 draft. But other than that, I think we are good. Hopefully, we don't lose anyone. And let's sort by. We'll do we'll do potential first. I mean, a couple 3-star potential guys. This guy kind of intriguing, Mason McCullough. Definitely struggles with his control. We might have a lot of guys like that in our bullpen. Not sure if this guy's really worth taking a flyer on. Let's go by overall. He is the only 2.5-star. Here's a starter that's a 2-star. Not bad. We definitely have guys like this in our system, though. And he didn't have very good numbers at AAA last year. Trevor Cahill, kind of intriguing. But probably not based on his ratings. Jacob Barnes, same thing. Kyle Gibson, that's kind of funny to see. He's having a pretty good year in real life this year. Jacob Nix, this one is a little bit more intriguing. This one is actually kind of intriguing. Scouts don't really like him though. Let's see, anyone else? Are we? Yeah, these are all players. All right, I think I'm just gonna not pick anyone. Keep the roster flexibility open. Of course, if you pick a guy in the Rule 5 draft, he has to stay on the 25-man roster or the DL all year long. So a little bit difficult to manage. It just makes the roster a little bit more difficult to manage. But all right, so this is where it's gonna get interesting. Shuang still wants more money, and we don't really have more money to offer. So we're gonna have to create some money somehow. And that might come in the form of trading one of these relievers. Now, like looking back on it, I definitely regret offering someone like Robles $1 million. Swarzak, gee, like I don't really know if we're gonna be able to just get rid of Swarzak's contract, but we will try. We will definitely try. All right, so I think what is a pretty good trade here for us. We're not only going to get out from under Swarzak's contract, we're actually going to get something of use to us back in the deal in the form of Yulieski Gurriel. So Gurriel could be a potential third baseman for us, or he could be a potential first baseman for us. He could spot Dominic Smith against lefties. Gives us another corner bat, which I think we need. Not only to fill the third base option, but to fill the first base, or not only to fill the third base hole, but also potentially first base as well. So I really like this deal. He definitely actually hits righties better than lefties, which maybe bodes well for us anyway, because Frazier definitely hits lefties better than he hits righties. So that might actually be just fine for us. And he's coming off of a pretty productive offensive season. About 1.5 wins in 100 games, so that's, 2.5 win player. Nothing spectacular by any means, but a good productive offensive player. And, I mean, I think he would be if we gave him some reps at first base, I think he could turn into a decent defensive first baseman. And we're not going to have to be paying him very much, so we're throwing in Thomas Mickelwraith, who, I don't really think is anything too special. Maybe a potential cost control starter for them, but nothing spectacular, nothing really more than a depth piece, which, as I've already said, we have plenty of depth, so we're only going to have to pay him, I think, $1.5 million in the first year and maybe $1.2 million in the second year, something like that. Yeah, I think $1.2 million. So I think this is a pretty good deal for us, and we are going to go ahead and do that one. That frees up some money, so we can go back to our negotiations with Shuang, and yes, now we have a ton of money to offer him. So we're going to go all the way up to, I'm just going to say 4.5. I really want to get out of this bidding war and just get him to sign. The worst thing you can do in this game is get in a bidding war. It's only going to drive the price up. So we are going to see if we can get this deal done. And the longer Rosenthal waits to take our deal, the longer I'm thinking about withdrawing it, because as we get closer and closer to what's the date going to be? It is going to be this day, the day preseason begins. That's when a lot of these guys' demands will drop, and that includes relievers. I'm just taking a look at Kershaw real quick. But relievers especially, their demands will drop, and like we could, at this point, I mean, look at, like, Britton is still out there. Zach Britton maybe would become available for a lot cheaper than, maybe not $5 million, but maybe like $8 million a year, $7 million a year. And Familia also, his demands are going to come down. Yeah, Britton doesn't have any offers yet, so I might just honestly start thinking about withdrawing that offer from Trevor Rosenthal, and maybe even we get Blevins back, because we definitely could use the lefty in our bullpen. So I think I am going to withdraw my offer from Trevor Rosenthal. He just waited too long, and the reliever market, the way it's shaping up, it just doesn't look like it's really going to be worth it for us to sign him to a 1-year, $5 million deal compared to maybe what other options are. All right, so again, Shuang looking for more money. We have $13 million we can offer him. I mean, should I just offer him a major league contract at this point? No, it's really not. It's not worth it for us, because then we're gonna have to pay him. Yeah, we're gonna have to pay him a lot of money each year. I'd rather sign him just a big signing bonus and then get him for the minimum for those years after that. So, all right, we're gonna go to $10 million here. If he doesn't take this, man, I don't know what to think. And this barely is going to leave us enough money to sign Blevins. So it's actually a pretty good thing that we withdrew that Rosenthal offer when we did. And that's another thing I consider too, is if this bidding war continued, it would give us a little bit more flexibility with Shuang. But man, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to get this guy to sign. And he still is looking for more money. This is unbelievable. Boston now upping the ante. I'm just going to go for it. 13.5 is going to be my offer. And man, hopefully he takes that, because we're going to have to make another sort of trade if we can't get this deal done. So we are at the date of the beginning of the preseason, and we are still in the running for Shuang. We're waiting for his reaction to our latest offer. I'm a little bit concerned now that we offered him a major league contract for a $13.5 million salary, and not just a signing bonus, which would not be as good for us, obviously. I mean, he still might, he might very well be a $13.5 million a year ball player, but that's not quite as valuable to us as if he was making the minimum and just had that as a signing bonus. So something to think about, definitely. And I mean, there are still some options for second baseman available on the market, in particular Brian Dozier and Daniel Murphy. So we might just think about transitioning our efforts to one of them if we continue to not be able to sign this guy, Shuang. And Murphy, of course, he was a former New York man. His defense is, obviously not that good, but I mean, at this point, hard to think it wouldn't be worth it, just based on the other options available. And the other thing is, I still kind of want to sign Jerry Blevins. But I'm not really sure if we're going to have room for him, to be honest. Now, it might not be a huge deal. Wow, look at this. So, wow, when we put this guy in the bullpen, he becomes a 5-star reliever. So this might have been the move to put him in the bullpen anyway. He has a 3-pitch mix, but maybe we could even just use that stamina to make him a multi-inning guy. He might honestly have more value to us in the bullpen anyway. And if that's the case, then signing a guy like Blevins becomes less necessary because we have less spots available anyway. The bigger question then becomes who's going to fill that 5th starter spot. Maybe it's Rodon getting a chance. It could be a little bit of Montero. Could be a little bit of... I mean, we have plenty of options at the very least, so not the end of the world. But, the other thing we could consider doing is if we move Todd Frazier, it would open up a spot for a guy like Peter Alonso. And, we could... It looks like Gurriel's going to slot in as the starting third baseman anyway. I'm not really sure what we could get for Todd Frazier is the thing, but maybe something, I don't know. And so you can see what I was talking about earlier, like there are good relievers now available for really good prices. Britton at $7 million a year, Miller at $8 million a year. Even a guy like Familia or Robertson at those prices would be pretty good. And I mean, it does make me consider maybe trying to move someone like Betances, so I could sign like a Zach Britton, but then I would really be stacking the deck. And, I mean, thinking about it from another team's perspective, why would you trade for Dylan Betances when you can just go out and sign Zach Britton? So it doesn't really make too much sense at this point in time based on what the reliever market is, but we'll shop him around anyway, just see. And there are good offers for him. I mean, this is another way we could potentially get another infielder. Looks like this was a guy that was signed from the NPB. Got decent ratings. Could definitely play second base for us. Other than that, here's another guy that got signed, I think, from the internet. Oh no, this was the other international who was available. So yeah, I mean that's one option. I'm not gonna do that though because I just don't really want to cheese the game like that too much. But let's continue to wait and see on how this Shuang thing is going to play out. And wow, kind of surprising, but someone did sign Asdrubal Cabrera, so we do get an extra first-round pick for him. Now we do lose a first-round pick because we lose our own first-round pick because we signed Harper, who got the qualifying offer, but at least we will only have to move back like I don't know, 15 spots maybe. And there we go, finally. Shuang does sign, and yeah, it does look like it was a major league contract offer. So that kind of stinks because we're gonna have to pay him 13.5 every year if we want him to be on the team. But I mean, if he pans out, he will be worth it, and he's young, so it's the right kind of guy to make that sort of investment in, but definitely a little bit less valuable than he could have been otherwise. So all right, that's pretty much going to do it for our off-season moves. Let's add him to the 40-man and everything, and then yeah, we're just going to, I think, skip forward probably to the end of spring training now. So we are at now the first day of spring training, and look at the guys who are still available. Britton only looking for 1 year, 4.8 million now. That is pretty ridiculous. Miller 1 year, 5.5. I mean, it appears that nobody wants to sign these guys for some reason. Kind of surprising. I would definitely still be interested in getting Blevins back if I had any money whatsoever, but I don't. And I don't think I'm going to be able to trade a guy like Todd Frazier or Juan Lagares. I mean, Lagares I'm less willing to trade because I don't really have depth outfielders who could fill his spot, so I kind of need him, quite honestly, even though he's a little bit rich for my blood. I'm trying to contend this year, and yeah, I mean, I need a fourth outfielder. I need a guy who could potentially spot, these guys defensively late in games. So yeah, that probably not going to happen. This is disappointing to see Rosario's offensive ratings regressing a little bit, but that's okay. So I mean, like, this is something we could do, is we could flip Frazier for Justin Wilson. But Wilson, his control is super erratic. He is a lefty, which would fill a need for us. Maybe that's something we'll revisit down the road. Ooh, we could dump Frazier on the Dodgers now. Looks like Sierra makes 4 million. I figured he didn't make anything, quite honestly. But yeah, so all these guys make money. So there's really nothing we can do to get out from under this contract. The other one to consider is maybe Darno, but then we're relying on Plawecki to be the everyday catcher, and we don't really have a suitable backup. Um, we have some pitchers we could think about. I mean, we could maybe think about moving Rodon, although I think we kind of might need him as a starter this year. Um, and other than that, like, if we just go to the salaries, like, we can't get rid of the Cespedes money, obviously. We're not trading any of these guys. Yeah, Darno, Frazier. Honestly, I can't trade Lagares. I've already explained that situation. I mean, I could move like Betances or something, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Um, so yeah, I think we're kind of just stuck with the guys we got, which is fine. I mean, we should still have a pretty good bullpen. I'm really not worried about the bullpen. It would just sort of be stacking the deck at that point anyway. So um, I think we're gonna be good to go. All right, so we are a couple days away from opening day here. We suffered a couple injuries in spring training. A lot of guys who are a little bit banged up, actually, which is kind of curious. But anyway, one was Shuang going down with a fractured thumb, which stinks, but that's okay. So we'll put him on the 10-day DL. And then the other one, which is a little bit longer term of an issue, was Robles going down for 3 to 4 months with shoulder inflammation. So he will be going on the 60-day DL. And we can now set up the 25-man roster. So we'll send this guy down. Frazier's going to stay up. I think in the absence of Shuang, we'll probably keep Rivera up. Or we could consider doing Gavin Cecchini. I like Cecchini's offensive ratings a lot more than Rivera's. I know he doesn't really have experience playing second base, but we're going to wing it with him anyway. Although with Plawecki, Frazier, we got Gurriel starting at third base. So maybe we actually want both of them up, quite honestly. And then we can send Matt Den Decker down. Gonna have to DFA him, I believe, as well as Bryce Brent. And that gives us 5 bench guys, which is what we want. Lagares, Cecchini, Rivera, Frazier, and Plawecki. And then for pitchers, Ooh, it looks like Seth Lugo also. I guess that's an old injury. I forgot he was hurt. It's like, why didn't I get a notification about that? All right, so Lugo back to the 60-day DL. Conlon is out for 2 weeks with a tired arm, so he's going to go on the 10-day DL. And I think, let's see, Montero is back. Selman is still hurt, so he's going back on the DL. So Montero's going to stay with the team then. I think Drew Smith will go down. And then it's between Bashlor and Rame for this last spot. So we're going to send down Bashlor for now just because he doesn't have any service time. So at the very least, I want him to wait the very minimum, like 11 days, so that we get the extra year of service time out of him, just in case he becomes, a good long-term piece for us. But all right, that gives us. Actually, we have one more roster spot available. I guess we need another arm. Or I guess actually no, because if we do update all lineups, so yeah, it does have Rivera playing second base. Although I think I'm going to keep Cicchini up as the backup outfielder once we get Schwang back. But we have 4 bench guys, so that's fine. We could go with another arm. Preferably one who we already called up last year. Although I'm not. If you do contract info, I think. Yeah, actually, all these guys are in minor league deals. So, all right, we're gonna have to go with someone who does not have any service time under his belt yet. So I think maybe we will just go with Bashlor, or we could go with. We'll go with someone who actually has a little bit of experience at AAA already. Although this guy's, you know what? I'm just gonna go with him. This guy's prospects of being a piece for us in the long run are a little bit better than anyone else's. So we're just gonna go with him. If he really starts out well, then it's gonna be tough to send him back down, but we'll see. So anyway, that is going to be the roster on opening day, and we will just skip forward 2 more days, see if anyone pops up on waivers who is maybe worth putting a claim on, and then we will call it an episode. And it looks like Harper is battling a little bit of an injury here. I could consider putting him on the DL to start the year because obviously I don't want to get him hurt long term is the thing. And Darno also a little bit of uncertainty around when he's coming back, so not a great start for us, quite honestly, just with the way these guys are getting banged up. Just taking a quick look at the top prospects. And we do have Schwang right there at number 4, so that's kind of cool. Wow, 16-year-old, the number 1 prospect in baseball, huh? This was a scouting discovery. Interesting. Is there a reason we can't use the head scout ratings? All right, appears to be just a little glitch. All right, so cool. Let's do. Oh, it looks like Rosenthal signed with the Yankees. Interesting. Let's do preseason predictions. So we are predicted to win 95 games and win the division. So that is the expectation then from the OSA guys, I guess. We have Harper in there as a top 10 hitter, and we have Syndergaard in there along with DeGrom as top 10 pitchers. So definitely some higher expectations for us this year. We will see if we are able to fulfill those. I mean, I imagine we would be better than we were last year, but I also think, maybe, well, we'll see, actually. I guess guys didn't really play too far above their heads last year, but there was some movement with the roster. We lost someone like Cabrera, who was a relatively productive player for us last year. We lost Familia, so, we'll see how it goes. It could be, it's definitely going to be an interesting year. I'm curious to see how this team does. If we're really going to be a 95-win team, could we be a 100-win team? Could we just be a 90-win team? I think it'll be interesting to see. And wow, now the game has Frazier starting over Gurriel, even against righties at third base. I'm sure that will be in constant flux throughout the year. But all right, so that is going to do it. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Oh yeah, let's check waivers. Just see Eric Thames. Thinking $6 million. We don't really have a spot for him though. And I don't think we can afford him anyway. He did have, I guess, he only played in 33 games last year. Jesus Aguilar. No one really too interesting here. Cody Anderson, actually. He makes the minimum. I'm going to put a claim in on Cody Anderson because we could definitely use him at the back end of our rotation. Can I not claim him, though? Here we go. All right, so we put a claim in on him. We'll see if we get him. And, yeah, I mean, you know, maybe a guy like Daniel Megden too. But once we get down, I think, let's look at Megden's ratings. He was never really anything special for me in my A's Dynasty that I did. He does have a sick mustache, though. So, bonus points for him there. All right, I think if we don't get Cody Anderson, then we will just go with the guys that we have. But all right, that is going to do it. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'm out. Peace.